welcome to the 157th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast.
So suspiciously paranormal.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me, as always, is...
Oscar Spector Esquire.
Producer extraordinaire and podcast co-host. Oscar, how the hell have you been, man? It's been a while since we've gotten together.
I've been hellish.
Hellish. I could relate. Me too.
Yeah.
Everything is hellish, and it's not just because it's the time of the season.
That's true. It is that time.
It is that time.
I mean, it's my favorite time of the year.
It is for me as well. Obviously, I mean, considering
the fall,
the show we do here.
season.
Yes, absolutely.
Not just because of the show, but also because I love that. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing the show. You know.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Right, so.
But for me, even though I love the spooky stuff, I love Halloween, I love the changing of the season, love decorating the house, love spooky shit. I also fucking love Christmas, man. Like I'm a
you're a big Christmas guy. I'm not.
Christmas
I'm
guy,
not,
man.
No,
you never have been.
Not really.
It's weird the way I'm sitting today with my mic. We had to rearrange things, so I'm trying not to look away from my mic.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to maintain eye contact with you, and this feels really weird.
That's fine.
Very unnatural.
We sacrifice a lot for our fans.
We do, you see?
Including our neck muscles.
Got a goddamn crick in my neck for you guys.
Right.
Right. So here we are, October. Happy early Halloween, listeners. What's been new with you, man? What's going on?
Did we have a pre-thing on this? I don't remember what we talked about as far as what we had for this opening.
So I know what I have for the opening.
Okay, because I'm like, did I have one? Because I don't think I have one.
I don't remember you saying you had something for the opening. You usually pull something out of your hat.
I'm usually good at that, but since we pre-approved something, not pre-approved, but like we talked about it in advance, I didn't think I had to think of one, so I'm trying to think of one, and I'm like, was I supposed to think of something? Because my life is shit. It's nothing. I had nothing going on. Nothing going on, Jay. Nothing of value, of substance, of vapor of substance.
No vapes. No vapors.
No
vapors. Well, I mean, I have some. So we were talking off the mics that it's been about 2 months since we got together. We had some stuff pre-recorded. Right. So I think I haven't talked about this, so I could just mention that, we had a wonderful cruise vacation in late July going into August. Took my family on an 8-day cruise. We went to Dominican Republic. We went to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. We went to St. Thomas and St. Martin. And it was gorgeous. Great time with the family. We were pretty much gone all of July on a long month trip.
Nice.
So that was...
I didn't know it was that long.
That was great. Yeah, we were gone pretty much all of July. So that was fantastic. Can't wait to be able to do it again. We're big cruisers in this family. Now we got the kids into it. So, yeah, that's kind of...
Any bruise?
Any bruise?
Any bruising? From all that cruising?
Cruising for a bruise. Wow, this is fucking 1987.
Hey, it's your era.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drinking a little bit.
A little bit.
Speaking of the Dominican Republic, I picked up this bottle we're drinking right now. It's Tesoro. And I found out that means treasure.
Tesoro, yeah.
Tesoro. It means treasure.
Yeah.
It's whiskey, single malt whiskey from Punta Cana, from the Dominican Republic. And
where all the great dictatorships are from.
Are they?
Well, no, I'm being glib. It's terrible there. Or it was. Or is, I don't know.
It is very depressed economically.
But good whiskey, though.
You go to the beaches, though, you would never know. But yeah, good. The whiskey is very good. I believe it was soaked or aged in rum casks. So, yeah, Tesoro. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Tesoro.
Yeah, I mean, that's better.
Tesoro. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. If you ever find yourself in the Dominican Republic, the old DR.
Wait, if you wake up one day, you're like, where the fuck am I?
What happened?
And you're in the DR, bitch. Oh, okay. Can I get some of this whiskey here?
Yeah.
First thought.
So,
and then call 911 or whatever, 411, whatever they have there.
I don't even know if they have anything there.
They may not.
I think you just go out in the middle of the street and you yell, I think.
They love that.
It's a lot of... it's very impoverished.
Remember, don't yell for help, yell for fire.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. That's good, because someone's out there yelling, I don't give a fuck. Right. You yell fire, I'm like, shit, is that my shit on fire? Right. So I'm going to go out and look.
Yes.
Exactly. So I had that beautiful cruise. Now, of course, getting back to reality sucks. Job still sucks. Yeah. But other than that, everyone's healthy, everyone's happy, everyone's doing good. Excited for October, excited for Halloween season, excited for this episode. It's a two-parter. coming at you.
The famous two-parters.
The famous two-parters. Yes. So we're releasing this first episode now, early October, we'll just say.
Yeah.
And then the second will be on November 1st, All Souls Day. So something to look forward to there. Did you think of anything else yet?
No.
No.
Isn't that All Saints Day?
I'll say I think it's used interchangeably.
Really? I never heard All Souls.
Yeah.
This is my first time hearing it. At least my first time paying attention to that, because I don't remember ever hearing that.
Should we edit this out? I'm not sure.
No, we're leaving it in there because it's a harmless mistake.
My Catholic ass should know this. I thought it was interchangeable. All Souls and All Saints, I believe, is November 1st.
I always thought it was like an Irish thing.
No, Catholic thing.
No, I'm sure, but I thought it was a combination.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I thought that.
I don't either, but it's okay because we're drinking whiskey.
But I'm also a heathen, so I don't care. Like if I get accuracies in religion stuff.
Is that how you identify as a heathen?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh. I have heathen friends. That's why I'm asking.
I mean, what is technically a heathen?
Oh, dude, I'm not getting into this.
Oh, why not?
Minister Sal Severo. He's been on the show a few times.
Doesn't mean I remember. I barely remember how he looked like.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to butcher it and get a bunch of people pissed off at me.
Why?
Look up heathenism.
Oh, I see.
Norse
you're talking
paganism.
about.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. See, I was thinking of just like no, in the sense like a criminal. Like a sinner. Like, I'm just a sinner.
I'm a heathen. I got you.
Not like a
ruffian.
Not a technical, book accurate, correct heathen.
Understood.
Which I don't know what it still means. I'm getting a little gist by your reaction, but I don't actually meant that. I meant like, in a sense, like, I'm an atheist or agnostic, not a real person to the Catholic eyes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Big difference. That's
what I mean. Meaning I don't know shit.
I didn't want to get into and
I didn't know.
Disrespect their religion for me not knowing enough about it and trying to speak about it.
Heathen, at the very least, probably works multiple ways. Heathen doesn't just mean whatever you're afraid of disrespecting as your friend, to your friend, but it also could mean something else. It's like, other words I can't think of right now.
Yeah, no, I understand now how you were using the word heathen. I thought you meant as a
heathen doesn't just mean that.
A system of beliefs.
Right.
Heathen beliefs. Right. Okay, got it.
It's got to be that it means something a little more lighthearted than that.
Yeah, well, I got all heavy with it.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it's just, it's great that we're on point now. That's all
we're on point, yes. So, yeah, then if we got nothing else, I say
everyone go watch The Substance in theaters now.
That's The Substance movie. Oh, that's with Demi Moore.
Yeah, and Margaret Qualley.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, if you see her face, you'd be like, I know her.
Ah, gotcha.
She's getting big now, though. She's getting big.
You said it was pretty hardcore.
Pretty hardcore. Pretty great body horror. Really good.
I like body horror movies. I do. Yeah,
this one's
okay. And Demi Moore coming back strong, apparently.
Strong.
Good for her, man.
Yeah.
Good for her. Well, I mean, before we get into this, check out the website, chicagoghostpodcast.com. Leave us a message at 872-529-0767.
Got that wrong.
That's 872-529-0767. And I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Let's take
a break.
Let's take a break. Listeners, we're back. So this is really strange. We're sitting here down in my basement. The way we're configured or set up, I am facing the direction in which I could see my staircase coming down into the basement, down here. And you're kind of sitting turned where you could see that staircase sort of peripherally, I would say.
Yeah, well,
right?
when I kind of move around... because I can't be still, so I swivel a lot.
Yeah.
So if I'm swiveling to the right, I can see it in my periphery, but no, not directly.
Not directly, right. So we went to break. We're kind of just relaxing, having a few sips of whiskey and stuff, talking. And all of a sudden, I stopped, looked, and I swore there was someone standing at the base of my basement stairs. I thought it was my son, Nico,
right,
who's been in bed for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah.
But no one's home. You know, he can maybe get up and run around, come
right.
down
He's
here.
a little rapscallion.
Yeah, I shouldn't say no one's home. No one's upstairs, so he could
right.
jump out, run around, kind of do his thing. But no, it wasn't him. And then when I said that, you said, okay, I'm not crazy. It's not me. It's not just me.
I did say it offhand, but yeah, I did say that.
Why?
Because earlier, before you noticed something on the stairs, I thought I felt someone was behind me. Not like directly behind, not like breathing down my neck, but like someone over there. And when I went to get my drink over here, I did look over to see if there was something over there.
It was that strong. You had to.
Enough to just to see. And I saw no one, and I didn't think about it again because weird shit happens all the time.
Here.
In general. In my life.
Yeah.
So, I didn't question it too much. And then you said something after that. I'm like, okay, what was it me then?
Yeah, that was pretty strange. And of course, I ran over there. Nico's not down here. No one came down. The door didn't open. I didn't hear feet on the stairs. Nothing.
No, even the listeners would hear the feet.
Right, you'd hear the feet upstairs exactly on the mics. But that was strange. It was gray. It was more gray color.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck that was, man. But considering tonight's topic, it's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Good.
I definitely have.
You've also had other weird stuff happen here in general.
Lots of weird stuff happens here.
So.
Go back and
we've done it on the show too.
It's
talked
happened
about it. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's happened on the show. It's happened on the show. We were recording an episode about Zach and Addie. Do you remember the couple from New Orleans?
Oh, they're gonna say the light thing.
And we had to stop recording because so much shit was happening. Lexi got freaked out. Remember the security system was going off.
I remember that now. It's coming back. That was another incident.
Dude.
Yeah, that was.
It's out there, listeners. I don't remember what number it is, but go back and listen to the whole thing. It's an episode called Not Zach and Addie.
Right, because we were supposed to
not
do that
episode
show.
XYZ,
right.
Zach and Addie. Listen, it says.
Right.
Listen to this episode. Whatever, go back. It was fucking freaky shit, so...
That's cool. I forgot about that.
It's continuing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, when people ask me, like, oh, you guys have any supernatural? I'm like, no, I never think of any. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I never think of these stories I was in.
That you were involved in.
I was involved in.
Wow. So that happened. And we're like, we got to jump back on the mics. We got to talk about this. So anyway, the lights are turned down low.
Mm-hmm.
The ceremonial candle's lit. And the drinks are flowing. Let's hopefully get through this episode.
Yeah.
Well, Oscar, the days are shorter, the nights are longer and cooler, the leaves are falling, and the air is filled with the smells of the changing season, almost a cinnamony crispness, at least here in the Midwest anyway. And most importantly, it's Halloween season. And for the Halloween season, I have a really spooky topic for you. Now, this is going to be a 2-part episode covering the fascinating ancient Rite of Exorcism. Now tonight in part 1, we'll cover the history of the Rite of Exorcism, as well as the different types of exorcisms. We'll also cover the real accepted signs of bona fide demonic possession, as well as the different stages of demonic possession. And we'll have some other little tidbits and cool stories in there as well. But overall, those topics right there, gave me plenty of material for a full episode, which is why in the next episode, Exorcisms Part 2, we'll focus on actual cases of possession. Cases that were so extreme, they had to be escalated beyond a diocese local exorcist and instead be brought all the way up to the Pope himself. Now, these types of cases are incredibly rare, but they do exist. So that's what we're going to focus on in part 2.
Right.
All right? So exorcisms, I think a great topic for the Halloween season.
Are we going to talk about extra crisp exorcists?
Do you know how hard I was practicing the cinnamony crispness?
Yeah, you got it, though.
I did get it. One take, Jay.
I really was, I was so ready to pounce on you. Like a cat.
I saw you rearing up.
I was ready to make fun of you and laugh at you and make you feel like shit.
Got right through it.
No, you did a good job.
It's the Dominican whiskey, man.
Must be.
Now, before we get any further, I want to be clear. In this episode and the next, we're focusing on Christianity / Catholicism and exorcism. Believe it or not, the Vatican requires that each diocese across the world have a specially trained priest at the ready to diagnose demonic possession and perform exorcisms. And for you lay people out there, the diocese is a geographical area that is under the care of a bishop, and the diocese contains a number of parishes, each of which is overseen by a priest, and those priests answer to the diocese bishop.
Right, kind of like a county and a zip code area. Like you think of the different subsets of how states work in our country.
Yeah. So that makes sense? Yeah. So the Vatican demands that each diocese have a priest trained as an exorcist and be ready to battle it out with the demonic whenever the need arises. That's how seriously Catholics take this stuff. Now, even though the practice of exorcising demons is not exclusive to Catholicism, as all major religions and cultures have their own methods and beliefs about casting out demons, in the Western imagination, exorcism is almost always associated with Catholicism. And for the most part, we have Hollywood to thank for that. Movies like The Rite, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, The Exorcism of Ronald Doe, The Conjuring, and of course, my favorite, William Friedkin's 1973 masterpiece, The Exorcist, among many other exorcist-based films. These have all shaped the way we view the topic of exorcism and the belief that the practice of exorcism is purely a Catholic thing, when it isn't. And actually, it is the movie The Exorcist that's pretty much the source or the channel of much of our culture's awareness of and ideas about possession and exorcism. Those images that come to mind when the topic of exorcism is brought up. Vile, violent, blasphemous demons, spinning heads, superhuman strength, supernatural powers, projectile vomit, an old priest and a young priest, all from The Exorcist, right? Now, ironically, though, when The Exorcist came out back in 1973, as horrifying and scandalous as it was, it did help to win converts for the Catholic faith. People were so terrified by the movie, and for their mortal souls, that Catholic churches around the country began receiving waves of inquiries from people who believed that they, or their friends or loved ones, were actually possessed by demons. And the Catholic Church ultimately saw an uptick in church attendance and converts to the Catholic faith after The Exorcist was released.
Right. This also connects to our previous episode. We talked about the Miami school and how that was a fever pitch nightmare fuel from movies like The Exorcist a few years before.
Yes. Kind
of fueling that kind of behavior as a theory anyway, and how that probably helped. No people in that school.
Yeah, fuel that whatever happened in that school.
Right.
Absolutely. So, like I said, the belief that evil spirits can possess man, and thus the need for exorcisms, isn't exclusive to Catholicism. In fact, these beliefs predate Catholicism by thousands of years. Now, scholars agree that Christianity and Catholicism is about 2,000 years old, but it's not the oldest monotheistic religion, or a religion that worships only one god. Mm-hmm. It's not the oldest. The oldest known monotheistic religion, Zoroastrianism, believed in demons and exorcism over 3,000 years ago. Ancient Mesopotamians also held these beliefs, as did the ancient Hindus. And here we're talking as far back as 5,000 plus years BC. So again, this stuff is deep-rooted, it's universal, and it's ancient. Since we're sticking with the Catholic Christian theme for these episodes, we should probably start by diving into the Bible, because it's within the Bible, in both the Old Testament and the New, that we find numerous references to exorcisms, and to Jesus Christ being the first exorcist. For example, in Matthew chapter 8, verses 28 to 34, Jesus famously drives a legion of demons out of two men and into a herd of pigs. And then those pigs run themselves off of a cliff into the ocean, and they drowned in the sea. In Luke chapter 11, verse 14, Jesus casts out a mute demon from a man, and when the man is free from the demon, he begins to speak and praise Jesus. There's Mark chapter 16, verse 9, which talks about Jesus casting out 7 demons from Mary Magdalene, presumably 1 demon for each of the 7 deadly sins. That's pride, lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, and envy. It's very important to remember that it's the Catholic belief that Jesus was the first exorcist, and it's through Jesus that the Catholic Church, the institution, received the power and office to exorcise demons. And this is exactly why an exorcism can't be performed without the Church's blessing. And we'll talk about this more a little later, but it's that old horror movie trope, right? Where a priest has to beg and fight with the church to grant him the permission to perform an exorcism.
Yes.
Otherwise, that priest just says, fuck it, and he goes rogue, right? The old trope. This is real.
Yeah.
Right? Trope is a real thing. To be truly effective, an exorcist must have the full permission, power, and authority of the church, and thus Jesus Christ, behind him when he's casting out demons. And it's crucial to note that it's not the priest himself casting out demons. Like, the priest doesn't wield his own power or authority over demons. No, it's actually Jesus and the church working through the priest that's casting out these unclean spirits, not the priest himself. Incredibly important to understand and remember as we go through this.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jesus gave the church the power and office to rid people of demons. But where did the actual ceremony come from? The words, prayers, and rules a priest must follow during an exorcism. The actual exorcism ceremony itself, along with the ritual prayers and rules, are spelled out in something called the Rite of Exorcism, which was first published in 1614 by Pope Paul V, as a part or a section of a larger publication called the Roman Ritual. Now, just to complicate things a bit, there are 2 Roman rituals. One Roman ritual is called the ordinary form, and the other is called the extraordinary form.
I was going to say, is it the extraordinary?
You've been right. The ordinary form of the Roman ritual is what most people recognize as the Mass celebrated beginning after the Second Vatican Council, or Vatican II, which ran from 1962 to 1965. And the extraordinary form was celebrated, or used, since the Council of Trent, which ran from 1545 to 1563, all the way up until 1962, when Vatican II began. Now, both versions of the Roman ritual lay out rules, or more like the decorum, for the church, for God's house, when it deals with important church stuff, with important church business, like praying for the sick, praying for the dying and the dead, or for administering the holy sacraments, baptism, confirmation, communion, reconciliation, marriage, anointing of the sick, and the holy orders. Those are the holy sacraments. Stuff like that. Incredibly important stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, also included in the Roman ritual are the rules, the steps, and the prayers for performing an exorcism, collectively called the Rite of Exorcism.
Right.
Now, the Rite of Exorcism remained unchanged for 385 years, from when it was first published in 1614, all the way up to January 1999, when the Catholic Church updated the Rite of Exorcism. Now, the prayers being recited during an exorcism didn't change in 1999. What changed, or more like what was added, were things that make the ritual fit in a more modern world.
Okay.
For example, added was the rule that an exorcist must work with doctors and psychologists to rule out sickness and mental illness when evaluating the need for an exorcism. Okay. Or more specifically, exorcists must consult experts in medical and psychiatric science who have a sense of spiritual reality. Doctors and psychiatrists who have a sense of spiritual reality. So here, the update isn't talking about a Freudian psychologist or a straight-by-the-book medical doctor. It's asking for doctors and psychologists that also have spiritual leanings, which I find very interesting. Also added to the Rite of Exorcism in 1999 is the rule that an exorcism should not be made into a media event, nor should it be publicized. Probably not a big concern in the 1600s, right? But in modern times, a big concern.
Right.
And for good reason. Believe it or not, back in April 1991, so 8 years before the Rite of Exorcism was updated, the ABC television show 2020. Remember 2020?
Yep.
I used to love 2020 as a kid.
I think I did for a hot
minute. I
was
a weird kid. Yeah.
Man.
So 2020, back in 1991, in April 1991, aired an honest-to-God 2-part series on exorcism, hosted and narrated by none other than Barbara Walters. Talk about a media event. This was the first time a supposed real exorcism was broadcast anywhere in the world. No one had seen anything like this before, and it was chilling. 2020 actually issued a warning to viewers and urged that children shouldn't watch what was about to be aired. Now, I know this happened before the Rite of Exorcism was updated in 1999, and maybe this is exactly why the rite was updated, but during the special, a Roman Catholic priest, with permission from the church, of course, performed a televised exorcism on a 16-year-old girl named Gina. Now, of course, this all happens in Florida, right? This is exactly something that would happen in Florida, just like our last episode.
That's true.
Now, doctors at Miami's Children's Hospital classified this Gina as actively psychotic. But after months of investigation by the Catholic Church, the church deemed that Gina had a lot more going on than met the eye. The church declared that Gina was, in fact, possessed. Now, I want to give you guys a taste of what was aired back in '99. So, Oscar, could we pretty please play a clip from that show?
Yeah.
But then something does happen. Gina begins retching, and as the pre-exorcism examination intensifies, unexpectedly, low and unfamiliar voices begin to emerge.
Gina said to me, I have to go. And I tell you, I don't want to go at all. You understand?
Do you understand?
No, you understand. I don't want to go.
The very first time that I heard the voice manifested, I was quite surprised. Hadn't expected that at all. And I thought, boy, here we go, fast and furious.
Praise be Jesus Christ. The Son of God. Praise be Jesus
Then,
Christ.
during a break, while the team prepares to begin the rite of exorcism, Gina becomes violent.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I silence Minga. I command the spirit of evil to leave now.
So, on the night of April 4th, 1991, in living rooms across America, as families flipped on that television and settled into their favorite spot on the couch and eased into their lazy boys, instead of tuning into The Cosby Show or Roseanne or Wings or Coach or Designing Women...
Wait, sorry. Your first two shows were already so public, like there's so bad news to mention today. The first two, off the gate.
Roseanne? What happened with Roseanne?
Racist thing. Remember she had that one show, that whole tweet thing?
Oh, God, yeah. And of
racist.
course we know about
Yeah,
Cosby.
that's right. I'm saying the first
I didn't
two.
even think of that, man.
Hey, I grew up on Roseanne. I get it. I'm just saying, it was funny.
Time out. So, since you brought that up.
Sorry,
folks. We're going to take a quick digression. So, after my dad passed away, I was cleaning out his place and just in terrible shape. But anyway, I found a bunch of books that he had. And a lot of them were very touching. It's, how to be a dad. It's, books about fathers, Italian fathers, and, kind of old school books and magazine articles clipped out on how to be a good parent. Just, even right now, I'm touched up by it. But one of the books he had was How to Be a Father. I can't, it's sitting up in my office. I could run up and get the title. But it's a book written by Bill Cosby on how to be a parent. Didn't age well.
No,
but I kept it.
Well.
It's in my office.
Maybe you could sell that.
As are quite a few of the books I took from his place. But so
that's crazy.
People tuning in that night, they weren't watching Designing Women, remember that one? Or Wings or Coach. On this night, an estimated 29 million Americans instead witnessed an exorcism. And it wasn't a pleasant watch. They saw a priest conduct portions of the rite of exorcism on Gina, who was restrained and thrashing and growling and taunting. I mean, you heard the clip we played, and she's making these ugly faces while wagging her tongue, very reminiscent of Reagan McNeil in the Exorcist movie. viewers heard Gina shout words in voices that supposedly weren't her own. Words that sounded like Sankadali, Booga Booga, and Rabaya. Silly words that sound incredibly spooky, almost powerful, when spoken by a supposedly demon-possessed girl. And Americans ultimately saw the two demons inhabiting Gina, named Zion, who Gina described as an African from the jungle, and Minga, described only as a short woman. Well, viewers got to see those two demons expelled, exorcised. Hallelujah! A happy ending to a downright terrifying ordeal. And again, it's estimated that 29 million people watched Gina's liberation from the devil. And the reason the church allowed the exorcism to air? Because the church believed it was important for people to understand that the devil does exist, and most importantly, to let the public see firsthand that the Catholic Church can help those whom it feels needs relief from evil spirits.
They needed some ratings, a boost in ratings.
A boost in ratings, exactly. And it's like the airing of Gina's exorcism was a demon-fueled commercial for the Catholic Church.
Right, but it also feels like a double-edged sword. I mean, I don't know where you're going with this. I didn't read.
Yeah.
I didn't read into this, so I don't know if I'm spoiling something here. But it feels like, you know, and I think the church believes this wholeheartedly. Even I do to some extent, even though I'm not religious like that. I believe in this power that
people can become possessed.
Well, no, I meant like the power of prayer.
Okay.
You know how the power of prayer works, right?
Go
like
with that, yeah.
For example, when I was hospitalized for something unrelated, I'm not going to talk about nothing with possession, but I was hospitalized once for over a week in ICU and stuff. My family got their church to have 1,000 people pray for me.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, it was like a thing. I don't remember if 1,000 is made up number. It was a bunch of people. Don't remember the number. They told me, and you know, I've also read studies secondhand. Of course, I'm not a doctor. That says the power of prayer really works for people. If communally, even if you don't know them, a bunch of strangers could be helping you, literally good vibesing.
Good vibes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good vibesing you all the way in, full of crispness. And
asshole.
Couldn't resist. And I feel like this is a double-edged sword because 29 million people watching an exorcist. Did you mention, was it live or not? No, right? It was footage.
I think in my story I did say a televised live exorcism. It was pre-recorded.
Probably pre-recorded.
It was pre-recorded.
I always would have to be because they have to do some editing. But I guess it would have been way worse if it was live. But because like I feel like having the vibes of so many conflicting things from 29 million people at the same time, that could be a double-edged sword. You know,
that's what you meant by the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Oh, is that interesting? I think you just came up with a topic, the power of prayer.
Yeah.
And cases where it went good, maybe it didn't go good in other cases.
Right.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, man.
Yeah, so I was thinking of that.
But that's kind of what this was like. It's her exorcism. The church viewed it as kind of a commercial.
Right.
The church was hoping that by airing this exorcism, they would change some minds and win some hearts.
Also, what is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled?
But making people believe he's not there.
Right, they're doing the opposite. Great PR.
And it's kind of like the public's reaction when the Exorcist movie was released, when the church saw that uptick in converts.
Yes, that's true.
But just remember, though, as of 1999, the church no longer wants this stuff publicized. And I don't have an answer, but I wonder why. Like, if airing stuff like this wins converts, you'd think the church would want more Ginas to publicize.
You would think so.
But for some reason, they put a stop to that shit when it added to the Rite of Exorcism.
It wasn't a hit, so it had a different hit than they wanted?
Right. What exactly? Did it not work? Did it have the opposite effect?
Did it increase cultist
Was it your
activity?
double-edged sword?
Right.
It's interesting. Why did they do that?
Right. Because the more attention you bring onto something, the more power you give it, negative or positive, right? Yeah. This is why celebrities shouldn't be trusted.
Well, expand on that.
Well, like, I think we put a lot of weight on celebritydom. Like, if we know someone exists and we know their name, we tend to, like, put a lot more weight into what they have to say or what they do than even yourself or your family, because they're not at all famous like they are. And we shouldn't, because they should just be trusted in the thing they're famous for. Usually actors.
Right. Absolutely right.
Like an actor or a singer, you should ask them questions about acting or singing. Don't ask them questions about politics. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't agree with you more.
That's what I mean.
I like how you put it, where we would listen to their thoughts and ideas before our own family because our family isn't famous.
Right.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up, but very true. And it feels more true these days because of the power or disempowerment of the internet. but that's how it is.
Great insight. Great point. So again, I wonder why they put a kibosh to publicizing this stuff. If it was supposed to work, but maybe it's to protect the identities of those involved, the priests, the possessed. I don't know. Anyway, if you go to the show notes, listeners, I left a link to the full 2020 series on Gina if you want to see it. But I'm telling you, if you scare easily, I know it's October, but maybe skip it. It's pretty creepy.
Nah, watch it. With your family.
I agree.
You have a toddler? Bring it in front.
Kids.
Put it up front.
Kids, this is what happened when you lie.
This is what happens when you went to my liquor cabinet.
I am no one, fuck. That's what happens when you lie. Okay. Right. Now, when it comes to exorcisms, there are actually two types. Minor exorcisms and major exorcisms. Now, minor exorcisms are... and I didn't know any of this. Like, this is
like baseball.
New stuff to me. Yeah. This is really involved.
Yeah.
Minor exorcisms are found in two places, both where baptism is concerned, because those who are not baptized, like babies, do not yet have the grace of baptism to protect them, and therefore they're more vulnerable to assaults from the devil and his minions. Plus, depending on what you believe as a Christian, and I'm not going to debate this, but a lot of Christians strongly believe that babies are born with inherited sin from their mother, what's referred to as original sin. Mm-hmm. You got to get rid of that shit for the sake of the baby's soul, which is why the practice of baptizing children exists. So where minor exorcisms are concerned, we have the rite of baptism for children, and we have the rite of Christian initiation of adults. In other words, adult baptism. Now, it's important to... actually, when we got married, Katie had to get rebaptized as an adult. So she went through that rite of Christian initiation of adults so we could get married in the Catholic Church, because they didn't... .com. It is a mouthful. She was hastily baptized, we'll say, and then whisked away when she was just an infant, and the church didn't recognize that as an actual baptism, so she had to go through this. Now, it's important to note that minor exorcisms don't deal with the full possession of a person by a demon or demons. Instead, it deals with the expulsion of evil spirits that are trying to negatively influence a person. The demon isn't inhabiting the person yet. He's outside, knocking, trying to get in. In essence, trying to create a doorway, the demon is, through which he and his friends could enter and take hold of a person, possess them. And even though minor exorcisms don't look like something out of the Exorcist movie, all crazy and violent, the words and actions a priest uses during a minor exorcism, each time a child or adult is baptized in the Catholic Church, they're actually very powerful, even though it might not look like it or sound like it. Here's an excerpt from the rite of baptism as found in the extraordinary form of the Roman Rite. So this is actual exorcistic prayers. Take a of my holy whiskey. I cast you out, unclean spirit, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Depart and stay far away from this servant of God, for it is the Lord himself who commands you. Accursed and doomed spirit, he who walked on the sea and reached out his hand to Peter as he was sinking. So then, foul fiend, recall the curse that decided your fate once and for all. Indeed, pay homage to the living and true God. Pay homage to Jesus Christ, his Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Keep far from this servant of God, for Jesus Christ, our Lord and God, has freely called him to his holy grace and blessed way into the waters of baptism. End quote.
And amen.
Him being, in this case, the person being baptized. Mm-hmm. Powerful language. And even in the post-Vatican II Roman Rite, the ordinary rite, boring rite, still, the words and actions used during these minor baptisms are quite powerful. And I remember this vividly from when my kids were baptized. Were you there when both kids? Yeah, I think you were.
I feel like I was.
I feel like you were too. I'm like 99% sure you were.
I'm pretty sure too. I don't remember any of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember this vividly. So we were all there at our church. We're up there, up front at the baptismal font, what my kids are going to be baptized in, the water, the font. Everyone's dressed nice. My godparents were there, all our families and friends. Our priest and our family deacon was there. And actually, a deacon can perform the rite of baptism. Doesn't have to be a priest. Then the priest gently blows into our baby's face 3 times as a figurative way to expel demons. He anoints our kids' foreheads and chests with oil in the sign of a cross, holy oil. He lays his hands on our son's head, or our daughter's head, and he recites a number of exorcistic prayers, including the following. Remember, this is from the ordinary rite. Almighty, everlasting God, Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, look with favor on your servant, whom it has pleased you to call to this first step in the faith. Rid him of all inward blindness. Sever all snares of Satan, which heretofore bound him. Open wide for him, Lord, the door to your fatherly love. May the seal of your wisdom so penetrate him as to cast out all tainted and foul inclinations, and let in the fragrance of your lofty teachings. Thus shall he serve you gladly in your church, and grow daily more perfect through Christ our Lord. Now, of course, he in this case is our son, or he would have replaced she for our daughter, Talia. Everything the priest is doing and saying throughout the baptism, again, are all minor exorcisms, even though they don't look like exorcisms as we've come to think of them. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I've been through this baptism thing twice with my kids and twice with my godchildren, so 4 times. And I never realized what was actually happening until I started putting this episode together.
Yeah, that's how it always works.
My unobservant ass. But now, all that was minor exorcisms, right? We were just talking about minor exorcisms. We have to talk about major exorcisms. Remember, minor are demons trying to get in. They're not in yet. The priest or the deacon, they're trying to get rid of those evil spirits before they can take hold, right? That's what minor exorcism is for, and that's what baptism is about. Now, with major exorcisms, the first thing to know is that they're used when a person is believed to actually be inhabited by demons, by the other. It's no longer just an evil outside force trying to corrupt a person in order to create this doorway through which demons can enter a person. No, the demons are in, and they're creating fucking havoc, doing everything they possibly can to separate the possessed person, or more like the possessed person's soul, from God. These major exorcisms, sometimes referred to as solemn exorcisms, can only be performed by a trained exorcist priest with the permission from the local bishop. And they can only be performed after a supposedly possessed person undergoes intense medical evaluation by, again, preferably Catholic or Christian-leaning doctors and psychologists. If the doctors agree that something's wrong outside of what modern medicine can diagnose, cure, or control, then an exorcism is granted. And major exorcisms can take days, weeks, months, or even years to complete. Some have to go beyond the local exorcist, up to the Pope. And sadly, some are never completed. And major exorcisms could be violent, albeit not Exorcist movie levels of violence, but still.
Right.
Swinging arms and fists, spitting, cursing, sudden fast body movements. And it's reported that sometimes there's other unexplainable actions observed, like speaking in tongues, foul phantom smells, and even levitation. A major exorcism could be very intense, and it's said that most exorcists may only encounter a handful of major exorcisms throughout their entire career, and their career is for life, right?
Right.
In other words, these cases are very rare. And that's good news for us, I guess.
Right. Overall, that's good news. I would say, though, I would imagine that this is probably not true, that the Pope has like a red phone, the way we used to during the Iron Curtain days. And that when that rings is when he needs approval, when they need approval on his...
The cape goes on, the hat goes on, the ring is
imagining a red phone in his Vatican chambers.
And off he goes in the Pope Mobile.
Right.
Which is a real thing.
I know.
Pope Mobile is really...
It looks ridiculous, though.
Okay. Now, just as there's different type of exorcisms, major and minor, there are also different stages of possession, too. Now, a person doesn't go to bed normal and then, bam, they wake up possessed. It doesn't happen like that. It's not like the movies. This happens in stages. And it begins with a door opening. And that door can open without a person even realizing it, which is terrifying. Things like using a Ouija board, tarot cards, pendulums, pagan symbols, using healing crystals and birthstones, even ghost hunting, things we love to do.
And we have done for you guys.
Any of these things.
Oh, sleeping in front of a mirror? I feel that is a big...
Yeah,
for some reason, I think that feels like that's not good.
No, it's terrible. It's horrifying. I don't know what's going to come through there. And just while I was going through here, I thought I saw something on the stairs again. I'm just saying.
That's how you're looking.
So any of these things, ghost hunting included, anything that could be considered occult, let's say, can serve to open a doorway for demons and eventual possession. Just, listeners, do me a favor, listen to the beginning of Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast, episode 22, and what happened in my own house when my daughter started using a pendulum to talk to a spirit named Johnny. It was fucking terrifying. I actually had to have a priest come and bless this house. And of course, me being me, I recorded the whole thing.
Right.
Oscar, could we play a little bit from our house blessing?
Sure.
Jason, Katie, Talia, Rose, and Nico, and preserve them, O Lord, for many years.
God grant them
Many years, many happy years. God grant them many years, many happy years. The Comforter, the Spirit of truth, who art everywhere and fillest all things, treasury of blessings, and giver of life, come and abide in us, and cleanse us from every impurity, and save our souls.
over their adversaries, and by thy virtue of thy cross, reserve thy habitation.
Was that all the rooms then?
It was all the rooms. So that was just a quick clip Oscar put together from our house blessing back in 2016. They walked room to room. They sang, kind of chanting. They splashed holy water around. And I believe they spread incense throughout the house too. After that blessing, we sealed our doors and windows by marking a cross on them with blessed oil, like on the wood frames surrounding the doors and windows. And I'll tell you, after all this, Johnny, the thing that was messing with my daughter, never made another appearance. And she never mentioned him again. What that means, I don't know. Now, I want to mention here that the clip you heard was not a Catholic house blessing. It was actually Eastern Orthodox. And of course, Eastern Orthodox is a branch of Christianity, along with Catholicism and Protestantism. So you see, I'm half Ukrainian, and my cousin on my Yuki side, he was an Eastern Orthodox priest. So he and his wife came to our house to help us get rid of Johnny. And it must have worked because our daughter was never affected by this thing again.
Cool.
So little first-hand experience there with this stuff. Anyway, a little digression, but we were talking about the different stages of possession, right? Now, once a door is open and evil spirits take notice, they're like, aha, that motherfucker right there. A possession of a person will happen in stages, and those stages are infestation, oppression, obsession, and finally, possession. Now, during the infestation stage, a person will start to experience typical haunted house-like symptoms. Could you say typical and haunted house in the same sentence? I don't know.
I think you can, because, we're endured by media and pop culture to know these symbols and signs in movies. So I think it's enough to say that, yeah, there are typical and uncommon versions of this.
Fair enough. Yeah. We're talking about, the tropes, right? Like how we're trained to think about what a haunted house is.
Starts with a creak.
Disembodied voices and steps.
Right.
Phantom sounds, creaks. Items moving around the house seemingly on their own.
That show Evil did a good job of this.
Did it? What part?
Throughout the whole series, they had to do with a lot of potential hauntings or possessions. They call them infestations a lot of times. They're they're like pre-possessions.
Pre-possession,
They get into it and say, because they're assessors, right? They're there to see if they need an exorcist.
That's right.
Right? That's the whole point of that series. So a few episodes would be that, and then one guy will be like, well, let's see what's wrong with the house, see what's making that noise first, that's in our physical domain, before we go into supernatural. And they would find those things, and sometimes they would find, like, this dryer has this thing loose. So it makes this noise at 3 a.m, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that show.
Yeah.
Infestations. Yeah, first stage of possession.
Yeah.
Those symptoms, right? Disembodied voices, the phantom smells, items moving around. You might even see an apparition out of your peripheral, like we've been fucking seeing down here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the things we try to document when we're out ghost hunting or when we were out on our podcast adventures, right? Those kind of things. I believe this is what was happening with my daughter when whatever Johnny was happening. Now, overall, things experienced during the infestation stage can be freaky, but it's nothing too over the top. It's that, is my mind playing tricks on me, or does my mind playing tricks on me? Did I just hear? Did I just see that? Makes you question yourself, but nothing really over the top. Just makes you question your immediate reality, right?
Yeah.
But you just kind of brush it off and you go about it, like we did here. We thought
I mean, we have to. We have
here we go. Just
what are we going to do?
Nothing.
Go bust them? No, we're not going to do anything.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, it isn't until we get to the oppression stage that shit starts to take a dark turn. In the oppression stage, the strange activity happening in the house ramps up. You're being touched by unseen hands and even physical attacks, sleeplessness, horrible nightmares, lack of focus, frequent sickness, intense depression, relationship troubles, work troubles. Now, of course, most of these things could happen throughout someone's life without any sort of demonic influence, but if they happen in rapid succession, in a short amount of time, or even all at once, that could be a sign of demonic oppression. And remember, the strange shit that we first noticed in the infestation stage, those things are still happening in the oppression stage. So it's just this onslaught of seemingly endless paranormal craziness.
Kind of reminds me of the possession that takes place, and this is not the same, of The Ring, because it takes place over 7 days and it gets progressively worse.
Oh yeah, The Ring. Okay.
I remember obviously the movie, based on the Japanese movie Ringu, and I remember thinking that in that movie, it starts off like believably, like, am I seeing something? Is that wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And by the fifth day, you're like all in it. No one believes you anymore, and
it's these stages just kind of condensed in rapid succession.
Right, it's rapid succession. Right, it's all make believe in the movie, but yes,
good movie though.
I love that movie.
So now the third stage, obsession, it's just what it says. The affected person becomes obsessed with what's going on around them, right? It's all they could think about. Sleeplessness and depression worsen. Feelings of utter hopelessness and despair permeate the thoughts, and even suicidal thoughts creep in. Abandon all hope. It's really bad news, man. The demons are doing whatever they can to break that person's soul and completely separate the person from the divine, from God. And the demons are doing this so they could advance to the final stage. Full-blown possession. Now, mind you, the first 3 stages of possession, again, that's infestation, oppression, and obsession, these stages can be cured through minor exorcisms performed by either a priest or a competent member of the faithful, like a deacon. The problem is, most of the time, the person being affected doesn't understand what's happening. They just see it as their entire life is spiraling out of control, and they have no idea why. They can't do anything to stop it, so they don't know to reach out to a priest or a member of the faithful for help. Now, the possession stage cannot be fought by an ordinary priest or a member of the faithful, the deacon. This stage must be faced head-on by an actual exorcist with permission from that local bishop, or it must be handled by the local bishop himself. Because remember, the exorcist must wield the full power and authority of the church in order to be effective against the demon. In the possession stage, a person is so physically, emotionally, and spiritually broken by going through all the other 3 stages that demonic spirits are now able to seize occasional control over that person's actions. And this is interesting, I never knew this, but it's reported that possession is usually an intermittent possession of a person's body, rather than an uninterrupted possession of a person's body, like you might see in the movies. Mm-hmm. It's also believed that evil spirits can't overtake a person's free will. They can't make a person do something they normally wouldn't do. Murder, for example. If the afflicted person didn't have it in them to be a murderer before the possession, the spirits cannot turn them into a murderer during the possession.
Okay.
Supposedly.
That tracks.
Now, as for actually performing the rite of exorcism, here too, there are rules. First and foremost, before a major exorcism is granted and performed, the exorcist must ascertain that he is actually dealing with the presence of evil spirits and not a mental illness. As we've mentioned a few times, the exorcist must work closely with a spiritually leaning medical professional or professionals to ensure that what they're dealing with is not a diagnosable, treatable illness. Mm-hmm. In other words, they're looking for the accepted signs of demonic possession, which include, and this is real, a person's sudden ability to speak or understand archaic or unknown languages.
Unknown to them, you mean, right?
Unknown to them, yes.
Right, not like unknown to everyone.
Right. I guess it could be both.
It could be both, right?
Yeah.
But they mean
but
unknown to them.
To that
they
person.
mean that. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
A person's ability to reveal distant or hidden things. In other words, having intimate knowledge about things the afflicted person couldn't possibly know about.
Like personal things? Like if I suddenly say what you did last Wednesday and I shouldn't know that?
Exactly.
Kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, you mean who you did last Wednesday? Am I right, folks?
Displaying strength beyond one's size and normal ability is another accepted sign of demonic possession, as is having a vehement aversion to God, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the saints, the cross, and sacred images. And in rare instances, levitation, actual levitation, has been observed during demonic possession. Definitely a sign that something more than a medical condition is at hand, right? And mind you, this is real. These things, levitation, superhuman strength, clairvoyance, according to the church, actually happen. It's crazy.
That is, how do you explain levitation? Like, what is that a symbol of? I know what it means to someone possibly performing an exorcism, but what is that a sign of? Like, is that a show of power?
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I do think that's what it is. Okay. It's purely just, look what control I have of this person.
Got it.
You know? Okay. Now, if it's decided that an exorcism is needed, if possible, the exorcism should not be held at that afflicted person's home. Too much negative bullshit there from the first 3 stages of possession.
Really?
Instead, the exorcism should be performed at a church, away from public view.
You don't get that in the movies.
Or in some other chapel dedicated to private worship, as it's to the exorcist's great advantage to battle evil in a place dedicated to God's honor.
Well, yeah, that actually makes sense. It's just amazing how you don't really see that in the that's not common knowledge.
In pop culture.
Right, you don't see that. It's always at their house. It's always their bed. Almost always.
Good point.
There are exceptions, but not many.
But this is one of the rules. God's honor, and you're right, it does track. Any holy power you get behind you, you want. Right. So being in a place...
Home court advantage is what we're talking about.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah. During a major exorcism, it's strongly recommended that the priest do not perform the exorcism alone. Therefore, members of the lay faithful may be present during the rite, supporting the work of exorcists with their prayers, either recited privately, like in their minds, or out loud as instructed in the rite of exorcism. And it says out loud in the rite of exorcism, really? You should say this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If the possessed person is female, there should be at least one other female present during the exorcism, for the sake of appropriateness and discretion. For the integrity of the afflicted person's reputation, as well as for those individuals who might be assisting with the exorcism, the preservation of confidentiality is critical. We've talked about this. It's also strongly suggested that the identity of the exorcist be kept secret, or at most only known to the other priests of the diocese, so as not to overwhelm the exorcist with random calls and inquiries. This is actually written. And the media is not invited. Again, talked about this. It's very clear in the updated Roman Rite from 1999 that an exorcism should not be made into a spectacle or a media event, right?
Huh. So it should not be made. What if it happens to be made? Do they have to stop?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, someone gets wind of it,
Put a bag over the head and whisk them away to the closest church. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
I have a question about this material you read for the research. It sounds like, is it written like a legal document? Is it written like a chapter in the handbook for the recently deceased? Is it
very good?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it written like?
When you get into like hardcore church teachings, like corporate and rules,
human resources speak.
It's
right.
It is like that.
Okay, so
it is like a legal document almost with citations.
Because legal document sounds like
Latin. I
would say it's written kind of like almost purposely to be so detailed that it's obscuring. Like it's very hard to read. It's not a layman's kind of reading. But like human resources speak, it's more a concise, like
that's what it's kind of like.
Like more. I don't want to say clear because they're not super clear either, but like it's more of a technicality. Like technically, this is the policies of our company.
Yeah.
Right, and bullet points almost.
Yeah. When like the Rite of Exorcism itself, the Roman Rite, it's it's pretty straightforward.
The Roman
it's like
alt-right, am I right?
The Roman alt-right.
Sorry.
It's kind of like a legal document, but when you start getting into like church doctrine and.
Mm-hmm. I just never thought of like how it reads.
So
like
intense.
Like, is there a school dedicated, like stenographers, like legal people, paralegals, right? Dedicated to how these things are supposed to be written.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like how deep? how deep does that go?
You certainly would think there would be because the way a lot of this stuff is written, it's
right.
Amazing.
Because you got to think of that.
No.
In general,
Plus, you're writing rules and doctrine that a billion people are going to follow and have to adhere to. So it has to be so on point, clear, concise. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So right, no media event, right? We don't want to do that shit.
Nope.
Now the possessed person may be bound, tied up, to help curb violent outbursts and to prevent injury to the exorcist and to any lay people involved, or injury to the afflicted person themselves. So binding is okay. Now, as for the exorcist himself, he must wear a type of embroidered white tunic called the surplice, along with the purple stole, which together symbolize priestly authority. The exorcist will make the sign of the cross on the afflicted several times throughout the rite, usually on the person's forehead. The priest will call on the saints. He'll pray and he'll read from the Roman ritual. He'll read excerpts from the Bible in which Jesus drives out demons from people. The exorcist will use what's called depreciative formulas, which are prayers appealing directly to God to liberate the afflicted person. And he'll also use imperative formulas, or words addressed directly to the inhabiting demonic spirit, commanding it to depart in the name of Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name, the exorcist commands the possessing demon to yield to God and depart as many times as necessary, while holy water is sprinkled on the afflicted, and a crucifix is presented, all in hopes of driving out the offending spirit or spirits. Once the priest is convinced the exorcism is worked, he'll then pray to God to prevent the evil spirit or spirits from re-entering the afflicted person. And he'll pray for the goodness and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ to take hold of and fill the person instead. Because after all, if the body is full of God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, there's no room left for evil to indwell. And I think this is where I'd like to kind of end this episode. We've covered a ton.
Yeah.
The history of exorcism and the Roman Rite. We covered the Rite of Exorcism and the rules an exorcist must follow. We outlined the signs an exorcist looks for to validate a possession. And we talked about the different stages of possession. And we even read a few verses of exorcistic prayers straight from the Rite of Exorcism. So I'm just kind of hoping that by now you're ready and you have a good handle on the Rite of Exorcism, because in the next episode we're going to talk about a few well-documented demonic possessions that could not be cured by the afflicted by the afflicted person's local exorcist. These cases were so bad that the demon-possessed had to be taken to different popes to be cured throughout time.
Even the Pope's exorcist?
Oh, I talk about him a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Gabriel Morth, yeah.
I just said that because of the movie.
So yes, these cases were so bad they had to be taken to popes, and were the Holy Fathers able to cure them? Listen to part 2 to find out.
So while you may think that right now you are an exorcist snob when you come and next watch an exorcist horror movie next time, you are not ready yet. Next episode, you will become an exorcist snob.
Yes.
Tune in.
Yes.
And with that...
What your thoughts? You like?
Yes, I do. I mean, I want to know more. I thought you were going to keep going, so I have nothing right now. I just want to know what the hell these things are.
Yeah, the cases are cool. Like I said, they're very few and far between.
Right.
And when there are cases like this, the church, and we'll talk about this in the next episode. I don't want to give away too much, but the church, do you want more? Is incredibly hush-hush on this shit.
Right.
So a few stories got out from different people who have been involved in the Vatican and, advisors to popes, things like this.
Right.
So I'm going to talk about those stories, but they're very rare. And when they are out there, their church tries to put a kibosh on it real quick. Okay. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, can't wait to know more. I'm going to become an exorcist snob also.
Yes, also. And, I did want to quickly, before we bounce out of here, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, what we talked about at the top of the show.
That's right.
All Saints Day is November 1. All Souls Day is freaking November 2.
That's funny.
So I kind of combine them both.
So both right and wrong. There is an All Souls Day, but not the same day interchangeably.
Yeah.
Got it. It's a long weekend. That's what we call it, the long weekend.
That's right. So All Saints Day honors all saints and martyrs in the Christian faith.
Yeah.
All Souls Day honors all of the faithfully departed, those baptized Christians who are believed to be in purgatory. Those are the people we're thinking of and praying for on All Souls Day.
Okay.
All Saints Day is just what it says for all saints. Oscar, happy Halloween and take us home.
Sweet. Yeah.
Cool, man. Anything with directing or writing for movies or anything with video? Have you been doing anything?
Oh, other than my TikToks, no. I will show you, but you don't have to.
I don't have it. I still don't have it.
I do Lego TikToks.
Do you really?
Yeah, I have been for a few years now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I haven't posted anything new because I keep forgetting and not thinking about it. I don't have any money for new Legos, too. But I make stop motion videos.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And where they build themselves. You don't see my hand doing it.
Do you have any on your phone?
I have them all on my phone. But that's cheating. You should really get TikTok. I'm starting to put them on my Instagram. So they all will eventually end up on Instagram.
Okay.
But I'm going back to the back catalog and I'm putting so I do time-lapse videos. That's my main one because that's the easiest one. Just watching me doing it, but super fast. That's easy. Most of them are like that. And then at some point I started doing a lot of time-lapsing. So it's a combination. Some of them combine both.
Cool.
In one video.
And are people into it? Are they commenting and watching?
Some of them, yeah. It's not as much as you might think.
That's awesome.
But it is more than I thought.
Cool.
Let me show you a nice short one because some of them are real long. Let's see. I have so many. I'm so bad at organizing this shit.
She's in the shower now. You could hear that.
In the shower now. So I've done, and I have a folder that keeps all my TikToks. I have 69 I've made.
Oh, shit.
So that's a fun number. Because I also put gameplay on there sometimes and shit like that. Is it in nature? It might be in nature. No.
So you're recording right now. Our voices sound good?
Yeah, they sound good. All right. Just hit play at the top there. I assume you know how an iPhone works.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't. There's a shorter one that I have. I just don't know where it is. Maybe I deleted it.
But how do you get your hands out? You
What
just
do you
edit
mean?
it out somehow?
Nope.
How do you do that? That's cool.
I'll tell you after you watch it. Plans? What do you mean? Yes,
Lego
the
set
actual
itself is
set.
like-
Yeah, it's like 6 plans, I want to say. Oh, 9 plans, sorry. 9 stitched in 3 groups.
Cool.
Yeah, right?
It does. It looks like the plant's blooming.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's the kind of effect I'm going for. It's like when you watch Nightmare Before Christmas, like that stop motion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know how they do it is that they build puppets and sets. It's all real. And they have a camera and they take a shot and then they move the puppet like this. They take another shot.
Half a centimeter. Yeah.
Not even that. That's how you do those.
All right, so
It's all pictures. Those are all pictures. That's like a few hundred pictures I took to make that.
Really?
Yeah.
So then where's your hands? Like how
They
where
don't
are
exist
you?
because I move it.
Oops.
Right? Because I move the object, take a picture. Move the object, take a picture.
You're fucking kidding me.
That's how you do it.
How long does this take you?
Forever.
Holy shit.
Not forever, but a while. That's
I'm
3.
stressed
That's
out
at least.
just thinking
That's like 4 sittings, 2 hours a pop. So an
Are
hour.
you serious?
A pop, yeah. And I had long ones. I have longer ones than that. I have like bigger sets that I made entirely by doing that move.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. You just need patience and you need to know where everything is at all times. Which I fuck up a lot. There's a lot of errors. I'm not perfect. But, yeah. Some of them are really ambitious.
It's cool. So then when you make it do circle like that, it's you just literally...
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, I couldn't. I'd kill myself.
That's how you do it. That's the only way to do that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So there's no way you could do like speed bursts camera. No, that wouldn't.
No, that wouldn't work because you have to move it.
'Cause then you're
yourself.
in there.
And then you're in there, yeah.
Oh wow.
And
Dude,
people were
that
saying, like,
takes-
can't you just film it and take your hand out? Like, that takes way longer.
Oh my god.
Yeah, of course that will take a little longer.
Dude, that's nuts, man.
Yeah.
You got some patience of a saint.
No, not even.
Let me just...
Just regular filmmaking. So, I don't have that, but I'll show you the picture because I took the finale picture of it. The final picture. Let me see. So, I did this big, epic lighthouse one entirely in
Dude,
stop
that's
motion.
awesome.
Entirely in
No.
stop motion. Uh-huh.
How long did that take?
I don't know, but the pictures are in the thousands.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got patience of a saint, my friend.
It takes a long time to edit too because it's a lot of rendering. Not a long time to edit, just a lot of rendering, so that takes a while. So I haven't done that. I just got the pictures. Yeah. If you do on my
that's-
TikTok, I'm just saying. You can see things.
Dude, I don't want the Chinese looking at everything I do.
They don't care.
All the porn I look
They
at.
don't care.
I don't look at that much porn.
Unless it's Chinese porn, they don't care.
Right, tentacles.
I haven't developed an interest to watch it yet.
It's good. I wasn't either, and Cyril's like, just give it a chance. Well, just watch it. And I liked it.
You know, I imagine when you two talk, you're both in the bath with bubbles.
No, we don't actually talk that much anymore.
No, but when you do.
As I'm going through this, I just kind of
Well, that's what happens when
I'm
you...
working on myself and just kind of...
But also that tends to happen when someone moves away, states away.
Yeah, but I'm usually there in Florida. I see him more now than I did when he was in Chicago.
That's
Isn't that weird?
funny. Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that crazy?
funny.
But no, he's like, just check it out. You're like, it's like Sopranos, you know, like in Gotham. So I'm like, all right, fine. And Colin Farrell does such a good job.
I mean, yeah, he's
He
a
does
good actor.
great.
I'm not saying it doesn't look like it has potential to be good.
It's the cord slipped.
Okay.
I hope.
And
I hope that's what that was.
it's La Llorona in the back.
Right, yeah, the crying lady.
Yeah. What's it saying? Oh,
Just-
just something about it doesn't appeal to me. I'm watching so many shows. And
What do you, what were we? Oh, me and Katie, we're on the last episode of Game of Thrones.
oh wow, you guys made. Oh my god, in 2 months or less than 2 months.
It had to be about 2 months, I'll bet. Wow. About 2 months.
Because last time we talked, you were in season what?
We
one
were
or-
just starting it, I think.
One?
Because I was telling you how excited I was
Yeah.
that Katie finally...
Yeah, I remember we talked about it.
She's hooked. She's like, sometimes I got to put it down, we'll take a few days off or whatever.
So she went through the red
And then
wedding,
she's
the
like,
purple wedding.
Then I wonder
the snake and
what's
the
happening with my
mountain.
friends,
Wow.
and so she really got into these characters like we all did,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so now we're on the absolute last episode.
That's insane.
So we're gonna wait a little while to watch it, and
and to be disappointed.
Yeah. But yeah, she went through all of it. All of it. You know. What was the purple wedding?
Joffrey dying. He choking on it.
Oh, is that what they called it? Purple wedding?
He turned purple.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean...
And also, the High Gardens, I think their insignia is purple or something. Like, it's like a double meaning.
Oh,
I think so. I think so.
It might be.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Purple rose or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Arya killing the Night King. I mean, the zombie dragons. You can't say zombie, but the ice dragon.
Why not?
Well, because they're not zombies. But and just even
we're doing a zombie marathon right now. So.
Are you really?
Yeah.
There's no good zombie movies, man.
Oh, yes, there is. I don't understand. You have a film guy, a horror film guy too.
Like what? There's nothing. Like,
so, name your top 5 zombie movies.
I don't even know if I have, dude. I don't.
So you just don't like zombie movies?
No, I do.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know the original Living Deads.
Night of the Living Dead.
Great. They're all great.
Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
Return of, those are all great.
Well, Return of the Living Dead is a different guy, a different filmmaker, different movies. It? Yep. Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, and 3. Completely different people. It's much more schlocky, slashery.
Right, yeah, total 80s.
Right, total 80s.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
The practical effects were great.
Have you seen, I assume you've seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yes, but I don't like funny stuff.
Oh, you don't like comedy?
Not comedy when you mix. Although I did like the one with Bill Murray and Lex Luthor.
Oh, wow, that is a weird pull. How did you combine Lex Luthor? That's your go-to actor for that guy? You're talking about...
Adam Sandberg? Andy? No, it's not Andy Samberg.
No, it's like a Zuckerberg. Not Zuckerberg, because he played Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg. Something like that.
I know it was a berg. You're talking about Zombieland.
Zombieland. Yeah. I like that. Those are funny.
That's definitely a comedy.
But I like those 80s.
Have you seen Fido?
No. I've seen like the cover, and that was enough for me. I'm like, no, not for me.
The cover is just the face of a zombie.
He's like got a little, just like a dog bowl with a leash.
Oh, is that the cover? The cover that I'm used to is not that.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm 99% sure. I was like, stupid. I like
20, it's great. It's a great movie.
And I'm not like a fan of like fast zombies or whatever, but 28 Days Later was great. I'm really excited for the new one that they're making.
28 years.
Yeah, well, they keep saying how they filmed it all on the phone.
Yeah. Did you see the joke?
Which is dope. Oh, that wasn't real?
Well, it's real, but did you see all the added technology to the phone?
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's the joke on TikTok, is that they'll say, they'll quote the piece from the article as saying, like, the entire movie shot on an iPhone, and here's the iPhone. And it's like you see the phone surrounded with all this wet technology, attachment to attachment. It's not folks, settle down. Settle down.
Stupid.
That's how they do it. Okay. It is on an iPhone, but it's not.
It's a transformer.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Look at it. It's ridiculous.
So those are good. I love that movie. But yeah, I like my...
So that movie I sent you, Pontypool?
I haven't watched it yet.
That's a zombie movie. One of my favorites.
Was it? I thought I read the review on it.
Why are you reading reviews before you watch the movie?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Me.
I know.
You're murdering me.
I know.
Murdering myself.
But I haven't watched it yet.
That's a Canadian indie movie, but it's very good.
Cool. I plan to. And now that I know it's a zombie flick,
yeah,
I'll watch it.
It's a real cool twist on zombies and viruses, and you never heard of it before. Never. Really? Like, it's a really cool idea. Never seen that before. Cool concept.
That's really cool when you introduce something like that to zombies as well.
Have you seen?
That's never been done before.
Have you seen the Chinese one? The Sadness.
No. Really?
It's like it combines like a zombie virus type of zombie with like the Crazies. Remember the Crazies? George A. Romero's The Crazies?
Yes.
I mean, all his movies are zombies, even though, that's not zombies, but it's like the government experimenting on its human population, and it turns like 50% of the population in that town into homicidal maniacs.
I remember, yes.
So like they don't control their actions, but they kind of do because it's based on their internal desires.
Okay.
Like, they're basically zombies, but not zombies, right? The Sadness is like a combination of that and like zombies.
Huh.
And in the sense that they are insane, they go crazy, they are out to torture as well as kill. It's like it's both things at once. It's not just to infect you.
Oh.
It's to kill and torture.
And
like
that's Sadness.
The Sadness. It's on Shudder. Excellent movie. We reviewed it on the show already.
Okay.
I feel like you should listen to the show. Anyway, and it's from China. Oh, it's from Taiwan, actually. And it's hardcore. There's some eye fucking.
Eye fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So I guess you call that skull fucking.
You don't see that very often.
No, you don't see that
come
very
across
often.
that very
For example, I like leading off with that so people can watch it. It's pretty gory. It's pretty cool.
Sadness. All right.
Yeah, pretty
good. Yeah, I guess I just like my pure 80s zombie flicks.
Yeah, I think you have like rose-colored glasses when it comes to the genre.
Maybe.
But there's been a lot of great ones. I would say even better than the originals.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because you have to.
What, is there something... How do we get on the topic of zombies? Was there something new coming out that...
No.
We were talking about the series. What series are we watching?
Yeah, we did. How did we get to zombies?
How did we get to zombies? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Bro. But no, I do.
Stenographer, can you play that back at 6-minute mark?
Right. What have you been watching?
Oh, right. You said the zombie dragon. I was like, well, they're kind of zombies.
That's how it started.
That's what it was with the Game of Thrones.